Lindsay, and I prepare future English teachers in secondary education. Most programs for English teachers are composed of 3 components. One of those is education coursework. This usually deals with human development and learning theory. Also subject-specific classes in the English department. These are classes about the teaching of writing and the teaching of literature. And finally, field experiences. In most cases, this is the student teaching. Ideally, the coursework should translate to the student teaching so that all 3 of those components are working together. So students are preparing in their courses then to go into their student teaching. However, a lot of the research has shown that there's a gap between the coursework and what students are doing in their courses and what they're able to actually translate to student teaching. So my research question is, where do the gaps in between coursework and student teaching exist, and what can we do to address those gaps? So I spoke with mentor teachers and found that there were 4 significant areas. One of those was teaching strategies. So students in English are taking lots of courses in British literature, American literature, novels, poetry, but they're not necessarily thinking about teaching strategies, how to teach literature to students. So that's one area where they can improve. Another area is in grammar and mechanics. So our students are good writers, but they haven't necessarily thought about how to translate those skills to secondary students. So one other thing that they can do is learn a little bit more about the structure of language and how they can teach that to secondary students. A third area was classroom management. This was interesting because our student teachers are very concerned about classroom management and what they'll do when they're in a classroom full of adolescent students who may or may not be following directions. However, the mentor teachers actually said that what they really wanted is just for the students to come in with confidence and to act as professionals, and that they could teach them how to manage a classroom instead of the student teachers having to learn that in their coursework. And a final area of importance was disposition. The mentor teachers felt that student teachers who came into their classroom who were open to feedback, who were reflecting on their teaching practices and how to improve, who had a positive attitude and were open-minded about teaching were the most successful and the most able to learn how to teach secondary students. We don't address disposition in our courses, but maybe that's something that we could consider spending more time on based on what the mentor teachers said. This brings me back to this first area about how those 3 areas should be integrated together. The mentor teachers felt that it would help them address that gap if the instructors at the university were actually able to come into their classrooms and watch them teach, so that there would be more communication between the university professors and the secondary teachers who are working with the student teachers. And then they could have more collaboration and establish better partnerships to kind of address that